Very special guest tonight who goes by the name of John to protect his identity with this, but he is an abductee who brings the receipts, big time, in the form of videos. How you doing, John?
I'm good, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. It's a brave thing. So you want to give a little background over what the hell you had happened to you?
Sure, there's a lot to talk about. Um, this this is the second podcast I've done, and I started. The first one I did was a couple weeks ago. I did Whitley Strieber's, and I think there was, and I have a lot of gratitude and appreciate Whitley having me on and relating my story, but there's still a lot more on the table, and I think we can clarify some things too. So I'm a lifetime abductee. Uh, I've had conscious experiences throughout my life, um, and other experiences that, or hidden memories that I've recovered with regression therapy. About 26 years ago, I sat with Bud Hopkins for a few regression sessions, and we were able to take various abductions that occurred that I had some conscious memory of and open up the parts that I didn't remember. And, some
Bud is a legend.
a lot of adjectives come to mind, fascinating and scary and incredible. And for the most part, I've kept my stories to close friends and relatives. And most people know I'm not a bullshitter. And even though, a lot of people who talk about UFOs and aliens, are often laughed at or, not taken seriously.
Yep.
And I've had my own consulting business for going on 34 years. And while uh, it's important, I find it more important to get this message out and what's happened than I think my own self-preservation. And while my name might come out or likely will come out at some point, in the meantime, I'm just going to take things kind of slow.
Makes a lot of sense. The most fascinating is that you have the video of it, which is
So
just that has got to be a first.
I have so many things I can tell you about, but the video is why I'm coming public. So the story goes, I was living in Key West, and this occurred when I found the video on my phone. It was in December of 2021, and I was sitting on my back porch going through my cell phone gallery like we all do from time to time, deleting pictures and videos. And I get to June 12th, about 6 months prior, and I deleted two pictures, and I come to just the screenshot of a video. And sometimes we know what it is just from the screenshot, and other times we got to play the video. And I played the video, and I saw it was 43 seconds long. And I didn't know what it was, especially at first. And the video is dark, and it's all pixelated and fuzzy.
Holy
And I
crap.
certainly had to play it back a few times. But
Holy
the one thing that had me playing it back over and over is you hear my voice clearly make four comments.
Holy crap. Holy crap. It's crazy. Fuck.
So obviously I was there, or, in hindsight, I took the video.
I mean, I've
And,
watched that video about 200 times now, so I can confirm.
and from people in my inner circle who believe they have too and more. And as we'll talk about, I'm sure, we've had a number of experts authenticate the video. And one of our experts has gone over every single one of the 1,270 frames, looking for any kind of falsifying, anything that would prove it to be not what it seems to be. And
Holy crap.
it is what it is.
Holy
So I came across this video, played it back. I sent it to one friend of mine in Key West, who also happens to have lots of experiences in her life. She kind of saw the same thing that I did. We reached out to some professionals, and I picked up some steam with one person who helped me find some really great professionals in various types of video experts in different types of. There's an AI video expert. There's a forensic video expert. There's another expert who works in quantum analysis. And to be honest, we did have a few video experts not believe the video and think it's a fake. We had two guys who we don't know what they did, but after viewing the video, we got back about 2 paragraphs from each saying they don't believe it to be real, but they didn't really tell us what they did in their work. We had one video professional gave us a long report, and essentially saying that, well, I believe the video is a real video. It hasn't been doctored, but I believe that you set it up, that you have puppets or people dressed as, which is crazy, absolutely nuts. So no, we didn't do that, and I don't know how to. I barely know how to take a video with my cell phone, much less do anything technical. And it's not me. So
well, the one thing I ran it through was a host of AI detectors. Zero. There's just no chance whatsoever. Well, one of the things, just from someone that has watched UFO and alien videos my entire life, is that if it was more clear and more beautiful, it would be less believable. Like the low light realism of it is almost impossible to fake. If it was like a beautiful gray in 4K,
I would
that's
love
easy.
it to be. I would love it to be, this high def video, and but I have no idea. I don't remember taking the video, whatever they did to me. I did have one regression session with a well-known doctor, and because it was online, not in person, I recovered very little information from the abduction. But one piece that was kind of critical was the initial abduction, where the gray essentially met me in my walkway in front of my home. And I'll tell you when, if you want me to tell you the whole story, we can start with that. So the video was taken, in hindsight, June 12th. And there's a bunch of incredible things. The video was taken at 1:15 a.m. and 43 seconds long. And the video, when you take a video and you hit end on the video, it essentially immediately goes to the gallery on your phone. Well, this video was not added to the gallery of my phone for 3 hours and 15 minutes after. And the GPS from the details on the video is at a location about 1/3 of a mile from my home, over another address at 1:15 a.m. It wasn't loaded to my phone until 4:30 a.m. at my home address. So the best thing we could fathom is that they had turned my phone off after 43 seconds of shooting the video. When they put me back in my home, 3 hours and 15 minutes later, my phone turned back on, the video loaded to the gallery. And the GPS from both the metadata and the video details tell the tale.
Yeah.
What we also did is we used GPS Earth to show an overview of where my home was. I lived on the golf course, and 1/3 of a mile straight toward where the cell phone tower is, which can be seen in the video. Literally looking out of the video from inside, whether it's a wall, a window, or a transparent wall, whatever it is, we are approximately 110 feet in the air when the video is being taken, and you see the red flashing lights from the cell phone tower coming through the window of the UFO.
That's a big deal.
It is. And
I mean, I've never seen that level of just realism, or just, like I said, bringing the receipts. Like, you have the actual video of it all. That you don't remember taking it is one thing, but you got it.
I don't want to put anything online or release anything until the video had been authenticated by multiple experts. We have other backup with the GPS and the metadata and the video details, and then the Google Earth video. Two of the 3 video experts that I mentioned do a good portion, if not a majority, of their work for the Department of Defense and all the different branches of military. And just to let people know, I'm taking the video from a specific spot, and you hear me say 4 different comments. The red flashing light is actually outside of the craft. It's a cell phone tower in the air. There are, I know you're going to show another version and other versions of the video, which are more clear than the original, in which we've circled the aliens, we've lightened it up a little, and we put filters to it, and we also have some screenshots that have been extracted. So you'll see me pan the video from the middle to the left, and then way to the right. There's 2 grays out in front, one more prominent than the other. And then at the 13-second mark, about 3 feet to my left, there's what looks like a 4-foot-tall Geico gecko. Kind of a lizard with its eyes on the side of its head and a snake-like or a frog-like snout. And it's tough to see in the first time you see it, but hopefully your viewers are going to replay this a few times and watch it over, and you also see the screenshots of the same thing from the video and better versions of the video, so go right ahead.
Can you describe, as I play the video, what you remember, if much, from the encounter?
I can tell you right now, I don't remember anything on board the craft. I can tell you that the spot I was on the craft was the exact same spot from a similar abduction about 28 years ago, out of an Embassy Suites in Denver, Colorado, with my ex-wife, and that's a whole story we can get into another time. But other than that, the only thing I remember from the regression is coming home, and I guess it must have been around 1 in the morning, and I was walking down the path toward my townhouse on the golf course, and my unit was the second to last one, and when you get to the last one, it was very dark, and at the end, there's a white picket fence that goes onto the golf course when you open the fence. And in the regression, I remember walking down my path, and in front of the house next to me, which would be the last townhouse, there was one gray standing there. And I remember going through the fence with the gray onto the golf course. The craft was right on or above the golf course, and that's all I remember.
Out when you saw the gray? I know you've seen them before.
No. You mean under regression?
Or any of your memories of it?
I tell you, really honestly, that I had 3 regression sessions with Bud Hopkins all those years ago. And my ex-wife was there. They were all recorded. And Bud had told me of the many, many hundreds of people he had done this with, I probably handled the experiences as well as anyone. For whatever reason, as wacky, as crazy, as insane as some of my experiences, I'm not freaked out by it. I kind of feel, I know a lot of the stuff they've done to me, which is, Bud said he had dealt with people that had not gone through a half of what I had gone through, who ended up in mental hospitals because they couldn't handle the reality. And I just, I have to worry about making a living and making sure my kids are happy, and making sure I'm happy. And if I let that stuff bother me, I go nuts. So it is what it is, and I'm none the worse for wear. And life goes on.
Have lasting effects from it, but we can get to that.
I might have some, underlying, stuff. There's one gray. You can see it's white chalkish head, wearing a black outfit, and just head in the eyes, and then to its left, our right, at the base of what is the cell phone tower, there's another one that seems to be further back and sitting. Those are grays. At the 13-second mark, when I pan the camera to the left, you can see the one large dark eye, but it's facing me, so it would be its left side. We're seeing it from head on, and it's a greenish, slimy, what looks like a snake or a frog face with eyes on either side, and it's also wearing a black outfit. So it's, unless you watch it a bunch of times, it's tough to see what's going on underneath because the whole video is dark. But as you show some other of the versions that we have, it's much easier to discern.
From when you had this happen before, where you have more memories of it, you said it's the same area that you were in
that
right?
craft that one time. I have at least 6 or 7 from my life that I've had some memory of. And with Bud's help, I've been able to recover broken pieces of those memories. One of the abductions I talked about on Whitley's show with one of my best friends out of his backyard. And we talked about that whole abduction.
Yeah. Have they communicated anything with you that you can remember? Messages?
It's wild. There's so many people who say they've been abducted come up with these messages, that the aliens have given them, from Betty Hill, star maps, and people say they thought the Earth, we're killing the Earth, and all my abductions, the only message I've ever gotten that I remember is, "We're not going to hurt you." That's it. It's the only thing I ever remember hearing in my head, and I have to believe that for the abductions that I do have some memory of, and I got to believe there's been a hell of a lot more that I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, "We're not going to hurt you" is probably the one you want to hear most in all that. Save the message for humanity, guys. Just let me know if you're going to kill me or not.
A lot of people have asked me, do you think they let you take the video, or they were just slow? They were just like, didn't know even what you were doing. For all I know, when I was in my home, when they abducted me, I might have had my cell phone in my hand at the time. And, I keep reasons for this or that. How did I snap out of their, when they put you in their seduced state? How did I snap out of it to take the video? And the only thing I can think of is I was having a lot of back pain and hip pain. I eventually had a hip replacement, but maybe because of my back and hip pain, it caused me to, come out of their seduced state. Or did they want me to take it? Did they allow me to take it? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't have answers. I have more questions than answers.
Yeah.
And the one other thing in the video that people should see, because it's been questioned, is up on the ceiling in the middle, there's what looks to be a ceiling fan and a light. And when you first look at it, that's what it looks like, is a big light with subdued light coming from it and a blade going around. And a lot of people have questioned that, and other people have said, well, we don't have that kind of light, where it's beyond me to explain. More technical people have explained it, and it's a different type of blade that we ever use on ceiling fans. I don't know what to say. Is it a ceiling fan? I don't know. Maybe I didn't use ceiling fans. I have no clue. Yeah. But I had one video guy literally say it's a fake video after looking at it and saying, that's a ceiling fan. You did a bad job. So, you know, he didn't study the video, and the people who have studied the video, for the most part, have come up with it's real and not doctored and not fake.
Yeah. I mean, I can say with certainty it's not AI, and it's not it's not it's some sort of CGI or whatever at all. It would be better looking if it was, which adds to the believability by far, you know?
I'm not putting my life and my career and everything else on the line to promote a fake video.
Yeah, totally.
I don't even have a social network footprint. Barely.
So, what did Whitley think?
Whitley had his own expert analyze the video, and he believes it to be true.
Mm-hmm.
He's not an expert. On his podcast, he had two of my experts join us on the podcast, along with my friend Amy from Key West, who was my confidant and the first person I turned to when I found the video. He believes it to be what it is.
Yeah.
He only showed the original version. So, in responses to his podcast, there were a lot more questions, a lot of people questioning things, rather than jumping on board. Wow, you got a great video.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I watched the whole Whitley one. I was just curious, like behind the scenes, was he like that was exactly what happened to him? Because he's probably the most famous abductee of the last 50 years. Is that like the same thing or what?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what your question is.
Okay, well, like, have you read Communion?
Sorry?
Have you read his book?
Yeah, I've read Communion. It's on my bookshelf, and I've seen the movie.
The cover of that novel scared me so bad as a kid.
Right.
But I was just curious if he had said anything to you about the similarities between his experiences and yours.
No, we and believe me, Whit and I had telephone calls and other Zoom calls, and no, we never discussed that really.
Yeah. So, as I promised viewers, I want to do a second part because we're going to get an overload of questions, and I think it's only fair that we get you to answer them.
Great.
Yeah. Because we can never predict what the questions are going to be.
I am absolutely open to answer any question I can, and if I can't answer it, I'll say I don't know.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be half my answers.
Yeah, very truthful. So I one last question for you. What's next for this? Well, what's next for you?
Hopefully around the golf tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going on with my life.
In Key West? Are you still in Key West?
No, I don't live in Key West. I live elsewhere. I am going to be open to field questions. Mm-hmm. I would like to get the story out because I think what we have is pretty incredible. And, regardless of what anyone thinks, I believe that there's a very, very large number of people around the world who have been abducted, who are being abducted on an ongoing basis.
That's a lot.
And while the UFO and alien topic is getting a lot of talk these days, and what's going on in Congress and everything else, and trying to open files, this is just one area of the overall topic that needs to be talked about too. And if I can help push things along, for as long as we've talked about aliens and abductions, people always say, where's the evidence? If you've been abducted, how come you didn't take a picture? If you've been abducted, how come you didn't take anything from the ship? And now here's a video on a ship.
You did.
With aliens in the video. And I think every bit as much as the video is crazy, some of the screenshots that you've seen that we've extracted from the video are insane.
Yep.
And there's multiple different races of aliens. And we even have a screenshot of what looks like a typical humanoid person. And, none of it's been created.
Nope.
It's all been extracted from the video itself.
You're the guy who did what everyone's been asking for. They always say, well, why didn't you take a video? You did.
I did.
And you're just like, here you are. Take from it what you can.
I don't mind people being devil's advocate. I want it to be scrutinized. That's why it's taken over 2 years to release it. It wasn't just thrown on the internet and, hey, what do you think about this? I didn't want it to be associated with my name, unless it's something that's real.
Yeah. I mean, you and I first started chatting about it probably close to a year ago. And you were, you just said,
and you're a busy man. It took a while for me to get your attention.
Yeah. The crazy, well, not the crazy, but the thing I love is that from the very start, you said, I want to take this to a bunch of experts. I really want to try and vet it as much as I can myself before putting it out there in the world. Like, man, I've never heard that before. Usually it's like, let's just put it out on YouTube and monetize and then let them at it. But you were so careful and methodical about wanting to do it the right way.
Certainly monetizing it was not in my mindset when I released it. If and when my name comes out, I might lose a lot of income because I'm the type of business consultant I'm in, type of work I do, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen. And I'd like it to be authenticated and received well at the point my name may come out, rather than prior.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not exactly monetizing it. It's like in the music industry, when bands sign the record deal, that's the beginning of the end. That's when the clock's ticking. So for you just holding out and doing it the right way and understanding that it could cost you professionally, I think that you're doing this in the most, like, the best way you possibly could, which is just saying, I don't know what the hell happened. I for yourself, but you're just putting it out there and asking people to look at it and take what they can. But you're not preaching.
When I found the video, there was no guidebook on what to do and how to get it out or how to authenticate it. And I believe me, I've spoken to so many people. And from what I've heard, it's been discussed in certain circles. But certain people don't know what to do with it either. So in the meantime, maybe doing a few podcasts will, get people talking about it. And, I would like it to get into the mainstream to see that this shit is real.
Yep. I mean, the best thing people can do with it is watch it.
Over and over and over.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like I said, I've probably watched it 200 times. I put it through the huge monitor, tried upscaling it as high as I could. Deep zooms, color correcting, taking out colors to see if it reveals something else. So round 2 coming with a whole bunch of questions. I'm sure most of them will be respectful, but people just want to know. It raises a huge amount of questions.
I do not remember getting probed.
That's going to be half of them.
I'm cutting that off right now.
Yeah.
I do not remember any probes being inserted. Thank you.
Yeah. But good to get that one out of the way now.
Yeah.
So thanks, John. I appreciate it. And we're going to schedule one soon with all these questions, and you can just rattle them off.
Okay. Anytime. Thank you, Ryan.